What is an invasive species? An invasive species can be any kind of living organism, an amphibian, plant, insect, fish, human, or even an idea that is not native to an ecosystem and causes harm. It succeeded in establishing a population that grows without further intervention by man and even manages to spread. It can harm the environment, the economy, the moral, or the native species' health. The little fire ant entered Israel as an undercover passenger in a log load. It spreads in Israel in nurseries, seedlings and crushed shredded materials that contain the ant sold in nurseries, and from there the ant is distributed in infected pots. How it can harm? It stings hearts. It is nuisance to residents inside houses to the point of excluding public use of infected areas. A claw frog entered Israel from Central and South Africa as a laboratory animal at the Verda Galil College. A student forgot the open frog cage. 5 individuals fled and hurriedly came to agricultural areas and natural reserves. Eucalyptus tree originates in Australia. The tree was brought to Israel in order to drain the swamps and eradicate the mosquitoes that caused the malaria disease. The eucalyptus trees invaded the sensitive habitats of the Alexander River. They are an invasive factor which affects the natural vegetation and unique nature preserves. The tree also has a historical value. Planting the eucalyptus that came to Israel from Australia as part of the pioneering settlement in Israel made it a famous Israeli symbol. It seems that alongside the activity of the Nature and Parks Authority in the sensitive reserves, a solution must be found for the needs of the bee growers. Eucalyptus trees should be kept at the same time as growing areas of nectar flowers. IDM propagate is a disseminated insect, which means self-propagating, that invades a unique brain in its abilities of Alpha Homo sapiens or Alpha Femina sapiens. Invasion occurs due to exposure to a linguistic factor. This brain activity was found in behavioral studies. Presenting a particular word to a laboratory subject tends to arouse a wide and wide associative network, which also includes distant, unpredictable, metaphoric, and secondary associations. This arousal is the source of the idea to the insight that occurs in the unique alpha brain from linking different words. The sapiens propagates the idea through communication to his own kind of sapiens, leading them to invade new spiritual or real spheres. In the following halls, presented a few invading species of Homo femina sapiens, illustrating the process at different times and places. The origin of Fideum propagate Judaeorum in the traumatic experience of losing Israel's independence in the 1st century CE. The experience has been expressed ever since in the centrality of images that symbolize religious worship. Menorah, Kruvim who guard the Ark of the Covenant, pillars of the temple, Yachin and Boaz, Gur Aryeh Yehuda, the western wall. These images appear in the prayers and stories of tradition, and they are the linguistic invader who created the Zionist insight, home to the land of Israel. The spread of Fideum propagate Judaeorum, known as the Zionist, began under the leadership of the Gaon of Vilna, an alpha mind admired by its Jewish kind. He encouraged them to immigrate to Israel in order to pave the way for the Messiah to bring redemption. The Messiah, the redemption, the land of Israel, these are invading species that the Gaon spread among the admirers, who themselves became a kind of invader, left their homes and went to the land of Israel. This immigration intensified in subsequent generations. Ideum propagate Judaeorum aroused later from the alpha minds of intellectuals who defined redemption as Zionism under the influence of new insights into national liberation originating in the Enlightenment. The existential distress of the Judaeorum species in the European habitat contributed to the development of the propagate Zionism and its invasion of the land of Israel. And what is the damage of this invasive species? The propagate Zionist invasion of land of Israel causes endless struggles with other invading species, one at a time. The Ottoman species, the British colonialist, and especially the Arab invader originating in the Arabian Peninsula. The origin of the invading species Ideum propagate Ishmaelum is the alpha brain of Muhammad. Muhammad alpha brain spread the idea of Islam that called for fighting the infidels and forcing them to convert to Islam. The idea succeeded above and beyond and created the spread of Islam in extensive areas in the Middle East, in Central Asia, and North Africa, in a process of intense and prolonged invasion. species. A large part of the local species in the area merged with the invading Arab tribes. Ideon propagate Ismaili has dealt a fatal blow to the ethnic variety, living conditions, and health of the native species. Too late to prevent the damage and repair the injuries. Me Too is a new feminist wave driven by the invading species Femina Sapiens Warrior. This wave provides the Femina Sapiens Warrior an appropriate environment to invade Homo sapiens sources of livelihood through claims of sexual harassment and rape. The claims restrain Homo sapiens and the low Femina sapiens a safe stay in their spaces until the outbreak of the Me Too wave were dangerous and harmful. This is a very painful strategy for Homo sapiens, especially for high-class individuals. This process affects the transparency of Femina sapiens organism and gives it an extraordinary glamorous appearance. There is no treatment to prevent the spread of this invasive species.